Every person has individual rights and the same responsibilities toward both society and oneself. Without the same balance, there are problems. The Catholic social teaching emphasizes that all people have God-given human rights, and that all people have duties to others in society. All human rights are based on your fundamental dignity as a human being. St. John the 16th stated, "Some of the most fundamental human rights are the right to life, moral and cultural rights, right to worship God, right to choose freely one's state of life, economic rights, right to meeting and association, right to emigrate and immigrate, and a political right." We have responsibilities as fully dignified individuals in a civil society. What is a civil society, you may ask? It is a sum of relationships and resources, culture, and associative that are all relatively independent from the political sphere and the economic sector. For example, you are given services like education or free healthcare from the government, and in return, you are supposed to vote. Subsidiarity is a factor in bearing assault in civil society. There is a hierarchy of functions and responsibilities which explain that the responsibility for your needs should be taken up at the lowest level possible. The concept is that big remote social entities do not do as good as the job of meeting the rights and individuals as do smaller entities that are close in knowledge and proximity to the person. In other words, people are not just numbers, but are individuals. Through the compendium of the social doctrine of the Church, it is the concept that protects people from the abuse of higher level social authorities. Under this principle, people should take responsibility to provide their own welfare and situation. The government should not step in when the needs of people cannot be met at a more local level. The concept of subsidiarity implies the existence of a variety of groups below the level of government. The government is the body of civil authority which is the leader of public groups, particularly government leaders or institutions that make laws, that keep order and creates laws. It allows needs to apply subsidiarity. The government is there to serve the individual and to promote growth and development, and that should be their first priority. In return, we have instinctive rights and should uphold the responsibilities. Some responsibilities of the government is to guarantee the conditions that allow associations and individuals to obtain their due according to their vocations and nature. Root out any form of social, religious, cultural, racial, economic, ethnic, or gender discrimination that denies people their fundamental human rights. On the flip side, the responsibilities of individuals are to help shape a just love society that promotes love of God and neighbor. Minimally, be on the alert to root out any laws or practices that cause sin or undermine human dignity. We can also take special vigilance to see that those with those most needs are cared for in the society. We can support cause laws and institutions that guarantee the rights of the poor. The fourth commandment states that we should honor our fathers and mothers, which also applies to authorities. Since all legitimate authority is from God, God's authority is present in just governments and laws. Legitimate authority must be guided by the moral law, and must recognize and respect and promote essential human and moral values, and must enact just laws. Government will interact with the citizens, especially families. Families can perform functions that a government cannot, so therefore valid to today that the state exists for the family. Subsidiarity also applies to the family. The church and the government have different goals, as the church is to meet the spiritual needs of people, as the government exists to manage temporal affairs. Because of the necessity of religious freedoms, the government should not interfere with the Christian mission as the church should respect and follow the rules of government. They can cooperate and lead to better every individuals. The church does not promote any one type of government, but encourages the right one, the best values such as democracy. but every government has flaws. The best democracy must follow this from the doctrinal note of some questions regarding the participation of Catholics in political life. The Congregation from the Doctrine of the Faith stated, democracy must be based on the true and solid foundation of non-negotiable ethical principles, which are underpinning of life in society. These principles are foundational for any society because they concern the integral good of the human person. As said before, that everything has a flaw, and in democracy that is corruption. For example, in 1972, President Richard Nixon resigned due to the Watergate scandal, where he tried to cover up in partaking in a 5/9 burglary. Even worse of the government is totalitarianism, where one group or person controls all with an iron fist and denies anyone of the dignities and rights of many mass groups. The great mistreatment of human dignity, better yet, life, leads to genocide and rejection of private ownership of goods. In today's growing political correctness, relativism has been widespread. Simply put, people believe what they feel or what others want to say without real evidence and facts. St. John Paul II states, it must be observed in this regard that if there is no ultimate truth to guide and direct political action, then ideas and convictions can easily be manipulated for reasons of power. Conscience is an action of judgment that allows you to know the difference of right from wrong. You can believe whatever you want, but decisions must be grounded in the Christian truth, or else it can be sinful. We are called to pursue a true freedom of conscience, and one that is informed by and serves incarnate truth. Freedom of conscience is the basis of any free society and is integral to the dignity of the human person. Our conscience helps us to choose the right conscientious objection. This is the right to not having to follow a duty if it is not legitimate. In conclusion, Christians are called to be a global citizen as we partake in society. But first, we have to take up our own responsibilities.